Welcome to My Aligned Purpose podcast. My name is Nicole Crone. I am co-CEO of our company along with my biz bestie, Kayla Pilecki. Together, we replaced our full-time salaries with our online business, and now we show women from around the globe how to do the same thing. I am a teacher of neurolinguistic programming, online business, and a huge lover of all things manifestation, spirituality, and energetics. If you came to this podcast because you're looking to exit your 9-to-5 to start and grow and expand your online business, then you've arrived to the right place. In our first 3 years, we became a 7-figure company, and we've supported over 1,000 women through our signature programs, Aligned CEO Method and Aligned Business School. Here on TGIM, I support you with your mindset, money, motivation, energetic upgrades, and all things online business. My desire is that from listening to these episodes, you're motivated to start that side hustle, begin the podcast, write the book, and quit that soul-sucking office job you don't love anyway. I'm here to show you every step of the way. We've heard from so many that our podcast is binge-worthy material, and so we trust you'll feel the same way. Leave it to me to provide you with all of the vision expansion tools, confidence, and a dose of humor that you need to attract the people, places, experiences, and things in your life that you desire. Thank you for listening to our show, and now let's get into the good stuff. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to this week's episode of TGIM. Thank goodness it's Monday. I am your host, Nicole Crone, and I'm really looking forward to today's conversation. And before I get into it, we are going to be talking about how you are actually in full and complete control of your time. You can manipulate time, you can bend time, you can expand it, you can contract it. And I'm going to teach you a couple of ways that you can do that. But before we get into it, I wanted to share with you how TGIM came to be, because I was thinking about this as we come up to the 4th year of the podcast. We're coming up on the 4th birthday of the podcast. And when I first started My Aligned Purpose podcast, My Aligned Purpose wasn't a company yet. I just knew that I wanted to start a podcast. I know that you know the story if you've been listening. I won't get into that. And I named it My Aligned Purpose. And in the beginning, there were not segments. There were just me showing up and being consistent at least every week, sometimes a couple of times a week. And then Kayla and I got together and we started My Aligned Purpose. And then from there, started talking about different segments on the show. And we introduced Biz Besties last year. We're coming up on a year of Biz Besties, which is crazy. It feels like we've been doing it forever. And then Mondays are reserved for TGIM. And TGIM stands for Thank Goodness It's Monday. And this actually all started back in 2013. It was the summer of 2013. And my sister and I had both been living in Nova Scotia. That's where we were born and raised. And that summer, she got offered a job. She was working with Lululemon to move to Seattle and open up a store in Seattle. And at the same time, I had just finished my teaching degree and I got offered a position to go teach in Northern Alberta. And we were moving at the same time. My poor parents, I'm sure that was a really hard summer for them. Or maybe they felt like freedom. I don't know, but I doubt it. They miss us and I miss them. Anyways, that's a whole other episode of the struggles of living far away from your parents when you don't want to. But today, I want to talk about how my sister got offered that job in Seattle. And before I took my teaching job in Northern Alberta, I flew out to Seattle to help her get settled. And I spent 2 weeks with her out there, and it was my first time. And that's really what drew me to want to move to Victoria, because I really wanted to live closer to her and live in the Pacific Northwest. And I had just never seen anything like it. So beautiful. And that summer of 2013, when I went to go visit her and help her get settled in, we went to the store called Paper Source, which I'm sure many of you are familiar with. And I picked up this book, and it was called like In 5 Years or 5 years from now or something like that. In this book, you did a lot of goal setting for the next 5 years. And for the most part, I found it really fun. And anything that had to do with the current, well, it was current to me at the time in 2013, the current relationship that I was in, because I knew that that's not who I wanted to be with, but I just didn't know how to get out of that relationship. I really struggled to think about what my life would look like in partnership and in love and family wise, because subconsciously I was like, I don't see it with this person, but I didn't know how to think ahead. But the thing that stood out for me from that book was goal setting, yes, at a 5 year with a 5 year vision, which is typically pretty challenging for me. I'm somebody that is a short-term goal person. It's really hard for me to see even a year out. 18 months is my max. I'm more of like a 3 to 6 month type of vision person. This book talked about the 5-year goal setting and how you can start to switch your mindset. Sorry if it looks like I'm looking away and moving in this video. It's because my 90-pound lap dog is right beside me, requiring lots of cuddles and pats. So I'm doing that. In this book, it said TGIM. It said, could you start to put Monday on a pedestal? Could you love your Mondays as much as you love your weekend if you're a weekend warrior? Could you start to find value and excitement and adventure and presence in Monday the way that you might look forward to a weekend to do that? AKA, could you stop escaping 5 days of the week to live for 2 days and then go back to feeling like you're trapped in some sort of trapped life throughout the week? It really had me reflecting on career and life because, that's the typical career timeline for people is Monday to Friday. The reason that this whole conversation comes up is because so many people don't love their work and therefore they don't love the beginning of the work week and they don't love Monday and Sundays become the Sunday scaries. And all of this really started to shift for me in 2013 when I realized, oh, okay, I am working like a dog. I'm working so much. I was a new teacher and there's a lot required there. You're just getting your bearings and trying to figure out how to juggle all the balls and be the coach and all the extracurriculars. And yeah, just like do a really good job. You want to be impressive. You want to have your contract renewed. You go above and beyond and above and beyond, but you are not paid above and beyond. That is for sure. I was seeing how I was brand new into my teaching career and I was already like, oh, Monday. Like it's going to be another long week. And this ties perfectly into time as well. I was forecasting that Monday to Friday would feel much longer than a 5-day experience. And I was really expanding the time when that was not my intention. And also we don't want to wish away time. The long story short is I just want to share with you that TGIM came from that point in time. And from that moment, I made a commitment to myself that I would love every day, that I would be present, that I would wake up and seize the day, that I would live on purpose, and that I would not treat Monday differently than Friday. In fact, I love Mondays. Maybe I love Mondays just as much, if not more than Friday, because I make my own schedule and I create my own rules and I get to do my own thing. And I think the book was a catalyst for that. I think this concept of really seeing Monday through a different set of eyes, through a different perspective, really did something for me. That's where TGIM came from. My intention with TGIM is to bring you value, to talk about mindset, manifestation, subconscious reprogramming, and really just working what's going on between your two ears up here. That powerful, powerful mind of yours. Okay, let's get into it. Today we are talking about time bending. All right. Time bending, what the heck is it? How can we actually do it? How is this in our control? Well, first of all, time is a construct that we have made up as human beings, as a species, to be able to say that we have some sort of control over the passing of daylight and seasons. We said, hey, let's make a calendar and let's make a clock and go off that. I want to share with you that inside of Aligned CEO Method, I brought this to our Mindset Monday. And what I brought to the women within our program was examples of how we experience this in our life, how we expand and contract time all of the time, how they could recognize that they've been doing it, to get really clear on, do they want to expand or contract time within their life, within their business, within what they've got currently going on. And then, of course, providing coaching around that. It was really, really powerful. And I'm not going to be doing coaching on the podcast, obviously, and I'm not going to get fully into it, but I do want to give you a little snippet of how you can see that you have been able to manipulate time in your life and how you might be contradicting yourself with your own time right now. Let's talk about that. I know for a fact that all of you listening have been able to expand or contract time at some point in your life. And I'm going to give you some examples that I think, this is my own opinion, you could add to the list, take away from the list, where you have been able to expand the time, lessen the time, be in the time. We're going to talk about how your presence is important in that. Let's talk about when you've been on vacation. When you go on vacation, you most likely are on vacation because you want to be there and you get there and you probably don't want to wish it away and you're really enjoying your time and you probably want to expand that time. You're probably hoping that vacation feels nice and long, that you get to soak it up, that you get to be present, that you get to rest and relax and be adventurous, or however you want to spend your vacation time. I highly doubt that you're going on vacation and actively wanting to wish it away. However, you might be subconsciously wishing it away. And what I mean by this, that we have control or that we're able to manipulate time, is you go on vacation and day one, when you choose to be present on your vacation and you say, oh, I'm here and I'm really soaking up these smells and these sounds and these tastes and how I feel, and you're so present in that moment, you are able to start to slow down time. And the more that you are present, the slower that you're able to soak it all up, that you're able to, people will say time stands still. You can make time stand still if you actively think and feel that you are in that still moment. Now, the opposite is also true. You can go on vacation and frantically right away think, one day down, only 9 to go. I had a 10-day vacation and the first day's already passed and the next 9 days are going to go so fast. Well, that's the story that you're starting to create. Time is really actually a reflection of the internal stories that we tell ourselves. This is my perception. You can take it or leave it, but I think it's pretty good. We see this. We see that we start to tell ourselves stories about how we are imagining time. And because we tell ourselves those stories, we start to create repetitive thoughts. And then those repetitive thoughts become our beliefs. And then our beliefs help us create actions. And then our actions are reflected in our reality. And then our reality proves us right. And then we say, oh my gosh, vacation's already over. All week long, I kept saying vacation was flying by and it flew by. Yeah, of course it flew by. That's all you kept affirming. Now, you could go on vacation and soak up every moment. And this is where NLP comes in, where you say, okay, I am using my five senses to look at the clouds slowly passing by, and I'm sipping on the whatever it is, the mocktail or the margarita you got going on, and you're eating the yummy food and you feel the heat on your body. This is clearly my dream vacation, may not be yours. And while you're in that and you're so present to that, you're not thinking about the next thing. And when you think about the next thing and you keep thinking about the next thing, then you're creating the next thing and you're speeding up time. And you're ultimately wishing away where you currently are in this present moment. Other examples of where I know you've probably slowed down or have had the opportunity to speed up the feeling of time in your life is, say, pregnancy. Those of you that have been pregnant, you can tell yourselves two stories about being pregnant. Yes, pregnancy is on its own timeline. Ideally, it's 9 months. We go full term. And some of you might say, this is the absolute most amazing experience ever. I want to savor every moment of it. And you might want to expand that time. And those 9 months may feel way longer than other 9-month periods in your life. And some of you may feel like, I don't like this experience at all. It doesn't feel good in my body. I don't want to be here. You wish away the time, and then maybe it feels faster than 9 months. You ultimately are in control. The 9 months exists. It's how you feel and what you think about those 9 months that is going to dictate how time feels for you. Now, one of my favorite examples of this is love. When you first meet somebody and you're falling in love with them, and you could spend hours and hours talking to them, getting to know one another. It's whether you're on the phone or you're laying in bed or you're out for like a coffee date or something like that. And you're just like so soaked up in one another's, like getting to know one another. And this is where we will say that time stood still, that you feel like you got to know 30 plus years about somebody in just a couple of hours of conversation. How is that? How is it able to be that in just a few hours, you feel like you've known this person forever? It's because you're being present. You are soaking up what they're saying, how they're making you feel, what they smell like, what they look like, what they sound like. Maybe you've got a little kiss in there, what they taste like. All of that is NLP again. It's your five senses, and your five senses take in everything around you, and then they create an image. And you get this image in your mind, and the image in your mind then creates a feeling in your body. And the feeling in your body either says, yes, I love it right here, right now, I'm present. Or the feeling in your body says, I don't like this. Let's go back or let's speed up, but get me the hell out of here. And this is where I think it is so fascinating that people contradict themselves, especially in business. I hear a lot, whether it's from clients or just the Instagram community, people I'm in conversation with, of people saying, I want it now. I want the clients now. I want the booked out launch now. I want the money now. I want it now, 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 now. And what they're saying is, in another conversation, in another breath, essentially, is I feel like there's not enough time. There's not enough time to do all the things. I'm trying to juggle all the balls and I'm trying to complete all of the projects. Okay, what do you want? Do you want time to speed up? Do you want the launch to be complete now and the people in and da da da? Because if you want that, if you want all of that right now, you are subconsciously signaling you want things faster, sooner, quicker, da 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 da. And then what's happening? Things are speeding up for you. And then you're feeling like you can't get ahead. So start to tell yourself a new story. I've got enough time. There is plenty of time. Time is working in my favor. It all works out in the right time. You need to start to tell yourself a new story about time. I know that a lot of you listening tell yourself the story of you're always late. I'm always late. I'm always the one that's 5 minutes late. Great. Keep telling yourself that story. Keep affirming that you never show up on time, that you can't be punctual, that people cannot rely on you. You can ultimately change that behavior by changing the story that you tell yourself. The more that you tell yourself, I don't have enough time, the more that you tell yourself time is moving too fast, guess what? That is not like factual universal truth. And here is a great example of this. We take two sets of classrooms in school. Okay, say we've got two grade 9 classrooms. This is the teacher coming out of me. You take classroom 1 and their teacher decides that today, well, they tell them yesterday, come to school tomorrow with your favorite treats, wear your PJs. We're going to put on movies and we're going to have a fun day today because you've all caught up on your work and it's Friday. Let's watch your favorite movie, eat some treats. You can play games, cards, whatever you want to do. Those kids are stoked. I don't know if you've ever been in a grade 9 classroom, but that's like the best news ever to them. They want to be in school. Kids like to be in school when they can socialize. They want to feel like they're treated with respect and they want to feel like they're in a safe environment. Those check all those boxes. You respect me. You're honoring that I've completed my work and now I get to have this fun day. You're making it fun. I feel safe here. Okay, check, 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 check. They're having a good day. They're not trying to wish away that day. Now, let's say that in that day, let's say this school day is 6 or 7 hours. So let's call it 7 hours. In the 7-hour school day, those kids have soaked up those 7 hours. Those 7 hours may have felt like 10 hours to them. Then we go across the hall to the next classroom, the grade 9 classroom. And for whatever reason, that teacher is having a bad day and those kids don't get to wear their PJs and they don't get to eat the snacks and there's certainly no movie happening and they're saying worksheet after worksheet after worksheet. And those same grade 9 students in the same 7-hour period are wishing their day away and it feels like time is crawling. They want out so bad. If they're not enjoying their experience, well, maybe time doesn't feel like it's crawling for them. Maybe they're able to speed up time. This is like the intuitive grade 9s would know, oh, I just have to think and feel that the day is passing by and then it will. But then we talk to students from each of the grade 9 classrooms at the end of the day. They've each experienced 7 hours. Maybe the student in the movie classroom says, that flew by. I can't believe that was 7 hours. It felt like I just got here. And then the other student that had the cranky teacher that had to do worksheets all day, they said, I feel like my eyeballs are going to fall out of my head. I feel like I've been here for 24 hours. Same day, same length of time, same subjects. Test subjects. We're talking about grade 9 students in a classroom. And yet time is perceived so differently for them. This is such a great example of the story that we tell ourselves is a reflection of how we feel about time. Time is owned by your subconscious. It is all about how you're thinking and how you're feeling. What I want all of you to consider is what you are thinking about wanting to speed up and why. And are you contradicting that thought with what you're really thinking about when time speeds up and all the things that you have to do, and then how you're actually feeling? because they can't be on different frequencies. You can't say, I want the launch to be completed, I want the sales in, I want the money in the bank, and I want the people to impact. And you want that, and that desire is there, and it's like a high vibration feeling for you. But then over here, you're like, but what I really feel is like, I can't get ahead of everything, and I feel flustered, and then your vibration is down here. And then your expectation is back up here. You're like, but I expect that I'm going to get these things done by this day at this time, but it doesn't feel good. NLP is all about what we take in through our senses and then how we feel. And then that's how we manipulate time, is how we feel. I really want you to ask yourself, do you really want time to speed up on this thing? Do you really want time to slow down on this thing? Do you really believe that you can control how you feel about the time? And what are you going to start to do differently? We go back to the grade 9 students. It's all perspective. It's all perspective. Experiencing time on a clock, and then just because of their mindset and their perspective on it, it feels very different. We've got group A feels really excited and about time, and they want to soak it up. And group B feels not excited about time, and they want to speed it up because they want to experience their day, their time differently. There's just so many ways to look at time, where days can feel like seconds and days can feel like years. I'm sure for those of you that are listening, you can relate to, there's moments in your life where you feel like that felt like a blip in time, where you can barely recall memories from that season of your life. And then other moments in your life that are maybe further back or closer to your current reality, that vivid memories of like big time chunks, big time stamps of your life that you can recall. Oftentimes, if you've experienced any sort of trauma or anything like that, then time also does this funny thing where it blocks out memories for you. You know, where you might have been going through something that felt traumatic, and that can be little t trauma. It might be like you were in a shitty relationship that you didn't love. Yeah, maybe there wasn't abuse or neglect or anything like that, but you just like weren't happy. Reflecting back on the time that you were in that relationship, you might not have lots of memories to reflect on because you were blocking out the time. You were not present. This is the thing. Presence is everything. When we are enjoying ourselves, we are enjoying ourselves and we want to be present. And when we're present, we are attentive to our five senses. We are taking in what we're seeing, what we're smelling, what we're hearing, what we're tasting, what we're touching. And that is NLP, that is neuro linguistic programming. That is taking in senses from your outside world and perceiving them internally, subconsciously through those five senses. And then your mind starts to make images. And then from those images, you create an internal dialogue that runs the program of your life. And the program of your life tells you whether you are having good feelings or not good feelings. And if those good feelings or not good feelings, what thoughts they are being created from. And this all gets looped back to time, because when you are telling yourself the story that you're always late, you don't have enough time, you're telling yourself that story because of you perceiving all of the things coming in from your senses. You're not being present. There's just stuff coming in from everywhere. You're hearing like, I got to do this. You're seeing the to-do list. You're feeling frantic. You're not present. Do you see how it's all connected? Now you're not actually present. Your senses are trying to take in too much. It feels overwhelming. Then the image you start to make in your mind, well, it's going to look different for everybody. You might start to see yourself like missing the appointment, arriving late, having to tell the kids or your partner or your friend or whatever that, or you drop the ball on this thing. Then you're starting to play the story in your mind, and you're seeing the images of it all unfolding before it's been unfolded. And then from those images within your mind, now you don't have a good feeling. And now you're operating from a not good feeling place. And this is counterintuitive to those of you that are saying you want to be co-creators with the universe, or co-creators with God or source or your higher self. Those of you that say you want to manifest. That's what I mean by co-creating. You want to manifest. And you're saying like, I want to manifest the business and the love and the body and the health and the money. And I want to manifest all of those things. And I would ask you why. And you would say, because they feel good, because they feel freeing, because they make me feel present, because they make me feel loved, because I get to love. Like, you would tell me all of these things that elicit good feelings. And then I would ask you, do you feel good? And then you would say, no, I feel frantic. And this is the thing. We cannot be on a vibration of, I desire this. I desire clients to come through the door and sales to be made and to make a big impact and to get my course into the hands of thousands of women. We can't hold that desire and then tell ourselves the story that we want everything to speed up super fast and then we can't handle it and we don't have enough time and now we're frantic. And then you're telling yourself that story, two very different frequencies. And then the third story is you're expecting the first thing that you desire to arrive and wondering why it's not. Well, the thing that you desire to arrive carries this frequency over here of your original manifestation. It does not carry the frequency of what you're feeling. The only way to manifest and draw things into our life is to be a magnet to it, to be a vibrational match to it. You manifest what you are. You manifest who you are, not what you want. When you are aligned, when you're calm, when you are present, when you are intentional, you will manifest the things, the people, the places, the experiences in your life that you desire. But you will not manifest any of that from a chaotic place. And all of this results back to time because the majority of things that you want to manifest, what I hear from a lot of you is that you're putting a timeline on it. You're saying, I want to manifest this thing by this date at this time. And I'm all for putting timelines on things. I think goals with a timeline help us have something to work towards. I love scripting. I love creating a script for the end of a certain time period. Right now, I'm working on a script for June. And if you don't know what scripting is, we've got podcasts on it, we've got YouTube channels on it. There's so much other information about scripting. I won't get into it now. But I have scripts that have timelines, and the thing is, when I'm working towards that script and that timeline and those goals and the things that I'm manifesting, if I then start to create chaotic energy around it, or I start to tell myself stories about why that's too soon, or why that's too far, or why it won't happen by that date, then the result that I will get will match the story that I tell myself. We need to start to tell ourselves new stories about time. That's what this episode is really all about. Time bending is, you know, if I was to simplify it, and maybe a lot of you are going to be like, this is so annoying. So annoying that this is so simple. I thought I was going to get some big scientific explanation about how to bend time. No, the simplest and truest, most way to bend time is to tell yourself a different story about time. Tell yourself you've got enough time. Tell yourself that you want more time, that you deserve more time. Tell yourself that you don't need that much time, right? Like sometimes we get caught up in this like linear thinking of the only way that I will have the family of my dreams, and this is like, say you're single, the only way I'll have the family of my dreams, it won't happen for at least 5 years because I'm still single and I'd have to meet somebody and we'd have to date for a certain amount of time. And then maybe we'd get married and then maybe we'd buy a house. And well, then eventually we might have the conversation about having kids. And then I'd be pregnant and that would take 9 months and blah, blah, blah. And then you tell yourself this very linear story about why what you want is not going to happen until a certain time. But you could tell yourself another story. You know, the script, I've shared many times that I scripted Jeff. And in the script of meeting Jeff, obviously it didn't say his name, but it was him to a T. I described that we would know right away. We would know right away. We'd fall in love right away. He'd be my person and we'd get married faster than I could ever imagine. And for those of you that know me, I met Jeff in the end of October 2020. He moved in with me in March. We were engaged in April and got married the following year. There doesn't have to be constraints on the story of your life. And if you think that you have to play by society's rules of what time means, like, oh, I won't be able to make this much money until I go to university for this long and then work for this place and then ask for this amount of raises and blah, blah, blah. That's you trapping yourself in a story that society says is right, that society says you have to do all of this in this order. What if you tell yourself, I'm a rebel. I write my own stories. I do things on my own timeline. I get what I want when I want it. Can that be your affirmation for today? I think that's how I will wrap up today's episode is begin to create an affirmation for yourself that says, I get what I want when I want it, or something like that. I get what I desire when I desire it. You get to choose. You get to bend time as you wish. You get to expand it. You get to contract it. I just really want those of you who are busy business owners to think about if you've been contradicting yourself. Have you been wishing away time of like, I want this sooner. I want the money. I want the sales. I want the clients. I want the experiences, blah, blah, blah. And then all of a sudden it feels like you don't have enough time. That's just like the biggest contradiction that I see. And I just want you to be able to write a new story for yourself. That is today's episode of TGIM. Thank goodness it's Monday here on My Aligned Purpose, the podcast. Again, I hope that this served you well. I trust that it did. If you have any questions about this, I love to chat over on Instagram, My Aligned Purpose on Instagram. Send me a DM about it. Share this episode if you really enjoyed it. Share it with a friend. And a couple of reminders for you that this is Love Month here in My Aligned Purpose, February. And we celebrate Galentine's Day. We're going to be doing a fun giveaway. Stay tuned for that. The giveaway will happen on Instagram only. And we've got a really big sale going on. Align Business School, we've never put a sale on the payment plan. And right now we have 33% off. If you want to join us inside of Align Business School, you can get $1,000 off paid in full or $100 a month off your monthly payment plan, which is a 12-month payment plan. We've never done that. Feels really exciting. We love welcoming all of the new members who have been coming to join us in that course. And then again, if you're more of a done with you person, because Align Business School is like a do-it-yourself course, has everything you need to get started in your online business. But if you're like, I really prefer high touch mentorship, accountability, consistency, VIP experience, then send us a message and let us know if Align CEO Method would be for you. This is a really great time to start considering the program as you would get in for our March VIP days. And then also you would get a full retreat ticket to our Aligned retreat happening at the end of May, which is valued at $3,000. So if you want to retreat with us and be an Aligned CEO Method, you can save yourself $3,000 by doing that. If you are already somebody who is in our world, just want to remind you that we have a very incredible affiliate program, and you can send your friends to Align Business School or Align CEO Method, and we will pay you out a very sweet incentive for that. And that really is our favorite way to get people into our programs. We want more people like the people we already work with. When we love you and we trust you and we love working with you, and then you send somebody our way that is your friend or your sister or your cousin or your colleague or whatever, we just automatically like them because they've come from you. That makes the relationship really fun and really easy to dive into. All right. Kayla and I will be back later this week with Biz Besties. And I hope that everybody has a really great day and a really great week ahead. And I look forward to coming back next Monday with another TGIM episode for you.